Thank you. A reminder, this meeting is being recorded, audio recorded. Our camera, I see, is not here, but we do have a recording. If anybody else is recording this meeting, we need to know that now.
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
What's that?
Can we move these tables closer?
Is anybody else recording this meeting? Okay. Thank you.
Marty, with this air thing, I want to move my tables closer because every time.
Yeah. All right. All right. Listen, we're going to move our tables closer because that air conditioning thing is going to make it hard to hear. Now we can yell directly at you guys. It's hard to hear over there. Maybe now. Are you stealing that from my old
Wow, close.
Oh, now we have the other recording, so we'll start slow so we can set that up. We better move fast in case it goes bad.
I'm ready, sir. Let it go. Let it ride. Get it started.
We're good?
You all set? Yep. Okay. So we have a 6 o'clock poll hearing scheduled with Mass Electric, EPA, National Grid. Someone here from National Grid? You are. Come on down where people can hear you, please. Are there other folks here about this hearing? Yes?
Yes, Marty.
Okay. You, sir, have the floor.
Yep, so my name is Carlos Rodriguez. I am a engineer with OSP and contractor with National Grid. And yep, just have a poll hearing for some expand poles along Apple Road.
How many polls?
So it is
7.
5 joint-on poles and 2 joint-on poles that are being relocated. So for a total of 7.
7 polls, all right. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, so I'm here to answer any questions. There are various locations along Apple Road. So if there's any letters here.
All right, I had a question for you. The 5 poles, those are just being replaced?
So 5 are new installs.
They're all new, okay. And the other 2 are?
Just relocation.
So 5 new, 2 relocations. Okay, all on Apple Road?
Yes. No, this is part of a bigger job, but I thought I may have a question about Little Alum. Okay, would that maybe be for a different area in town maybe? Or is it still near Brimfield?
No.
It's just those two we
The name is not right on.
Sir, I'm sorry. We need you to just say who you are for the record. What is it? John Cooper, and you live on what road? Governor Fairfield. Okay, I just, again, it's for the record for the meeting.
Can you just speak up, sir?
They said, I'm not with any compliance. I have to move electrical. I'm a building over. Got a contractor that just sent me an estimate of over $5,000 for him. And we're not getting any bill from the electric company.
No, so this is newly installed poles. It sounds to me that maybe that's separate. Do you know what location, what is the property?
53 out.
53 Apple. It's going to be, to my knowledge, no poles that are moving across the road. So what
Nothing here.
Yeah, so nothing that I have here on 53. That may just be a completely separate thing. But yeah, and I think it's just a coincidence that you got the the hearing for polls on Apple Road and something about yours. Yep.
Just asking.
That's the thing that is still FedEx.
Yep.
Town tell you.
Yeah, so
Is that what
any
the-
letters that are along Apple Road would have received that letter, but the individual that you're talking about is separate.
Based on what you're telling us about these poles, do any of our residents need to think about or be concerned with being billed for these poles?
No, this is nothing to do with the town.
All right.
You're gonna have to
Yeah,
speak up, sir.
hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Sir, you need your name and the street that you live on for the record, please.
My name is Paul Warren, P-O-R-R-A, 53 Apple Road.
Thank you, sir.
What I can do is I give you my cards and anything, reach out to me. This is about this particular job, but maybe I can, and then,
Well,
sir, I
you had another
answer your
question?
Yeah.
Do we have your permission to leave if we're not ordering Apple Road?
Yeah, you can go, sure.
Yeah.
We don't keep anybody here who doesn't want to, except for the board members. They have to.
So we're not, I'm on the same deal as him. I live on Governor Fairbanks, and I got it on the other street for tonight, for these. So, but there's nothing affecting my road.
No, today is just Apple Road, and that's the petition hearing
yeah, you
here
have a
just says
question.
Apple Road. But
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, sometimes, depending on how it might affect the property that's going to be affected, we have to notify all the butters, even though it won't affect the property. Okay, thank you. You're all set, right? Scott, did you have a question? No? Yes, sir.
Brendan Fulham, 30 Apple Road. Is there going to be any additional trees cut down, or are you just replacing the old? Because there was a bunch of tree work done last year. Is there more trees that are going to be cut down, or just replacing poles?
So this, with the addition of poles, there'll be like trimming, I would imagine. Obviously, different times of year, I don't know how the trees come out, but typically the utility will always maintain their lines. So that way there's nothing that affects like the branches falling off the wires or anything like that. But there wouldn't be any like, special tree work in the sense that they're widening the road or anything like that.
So if they thought they needed to remove a tree that was abutting or on our property, would they tell us or ask us before that?
Yes, they can go onto your property and do any of that. There are separate jobs where like the customer will ask, like, oh, can you do this? But yeah.
Okay. Are there any other questions regarding the poll hearing? Yes.
We have a timeline. Jolene Ferreira, 93 Apple Road.
Thank you.
We have a timeline on when this is going to happen and approximately how long the work is going to take, because as Chief Dre knows, and all residents of Apple Road know, traffic on that road is horrendous as it is. You start adding tree work, utility work, it messes up the traffic flow. It's kind of nice for us residents to know what to expect and when to expect it.
Yep. So that is the hardest question to always answer. This project itself, I believe, is 7 years old. So it's quite an old project. They actually created this particular work so that this stuff can happen sooner. Timeline, I mean, I wouldn't be able to give you an accurate
So
time, but
could-
when it does happen,
So could you, would you know like a week before it starts? How soon would you know?
so they'll reach out to the town, the same thing, like they'll contact you guys once the work is going to start, same thing with every town.
And then, so once we know that as a board, we can let Chief know, and Chief can maybe make a social media post. Chief, would that be okay?
I'll make a what?
So, the social media post?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can do that, that way we can, get that
and-
information out.
And you know what, we'll do it on the town's
On town
website too.
website,
Yeah. And that's typically what happens. The town is informed and they let the residents know.
Okay.
I just wanted to clarify. I was interpreting what your concern was, which it sounds like your concern, and correct me if I'm wrong, was whether or not the replacement or install of these new poles will affect any residential electrical hookups, and if so, are the residents responsible for that, or is National Grid going to undertake, any poles that they remove or newly installed poles? You're gonna take responsibility for the electrical connections to existing residences, correct?
Exactly, so anything that gets...
Hold on, sir, hold on a second. Just a second. Let him
Yeah, so
respond.
exactly that, like anything that is being affected on behalf of like this job, like if we're replacing a pole and everything, like all those connections are done by National Grid. There's no billing that goes over to that homeowner.
Great.
Okay,
Thank you
sir,
for
go
the
ahead, you have a
clarification.
question?
We had a woman from National Grid at my place, okay, and with my electrical contract. And she's the one that said that they might move the pole from across the street over onto my side. That's why I'm here, to find out if that's the case or not.
Yep, so not with this one. I mean, it's what it could be is that's a completely separate job that they want to do that or something like that, but it's not a part of.
So is there any way that you could help this gentleman?
Yep. So I let them know that I can give them my contact information and that they can provide me with
Right,
anything.
okay.
It's a little hard here to
Right,
just grab his contact. Maybe I'll do that.
Okay,
But yeah.
perfect. So make sure that you're in touch with him so we can get, answers for you.
Okay, any other comments or questions? I hear and see none, so I'm gonna move along. I guess I should have asked the biggest question, right? Any other comments from the board?
Thanks for explaining.
Thank you. Hang on one second, we'll get a vote on this for you. Okay, if there's no other questions or comments from the board, I would be happy to take a motion on this.
I make a motion to accept the Massachusetts Electric Company National Grid petition, is it like the small, 31006756 Apple Road, Brimfield.
Seconded.
Okay? If there's no further discussion, all in favor?
Fraser, aye.
Stewart, aye.
The Bruin eye.
McGuire, aye.
Kelly, aye. Okay, you are approved. Thank you
so
very much.
much. Any help you can give our residents, we appreciate it. Thanks. One day that we don't have a meeting.
That's what we have.
Who's the youngest on the board?
That's what we have.
Yes, I have to do the chair.
What's that?
Mr. Foreman has a question.
Okay. Okay, next on the agenda, we have the public forum. We have one request, and that's from Bill Ferrer. If you would be kind enough, just sit a little bit lower so we can hear you and
I'm
everybody
gonna
else.
try not to.
Okay, you have the floor.
Thank you for getting us on the agenda tonight. My question and kind of concern all in one tonight is the soliciting that's been going on. I know our road in particular is very tough because they don't realize they cross out of Sturbridge and continue down Apple Road and then they cross the town line, which I get. But it seems like it's very consistent that we get very rude solicitors. You tell them no, they want to keep pushing. They don't like getting no, and everyone's trying to do a job. But at the same time, I don't believe the town of Brimfield has any bylaws or anything for soliciting. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong on
We
that,
do
but I
not.
don't believe there is anything. So the big question is, what is the process when I'm going to use solar for an example because they're the biggest one that comes through town. When they come to town, I'm assuming they go to chief and request like permission or whatever, for them to go door to door and solicit in town. And at what point do we either try to get a do not knock list or just say, no, we're not going to keep getting solar through? Because I know we've had sun runs several times just this year alone. And there's, plenty of others that have come through too.
Okay, we can't delve too deeply into this because it's not an agenda item for us.
Yes.
We don't want to drift into that scary open meeting law business, right? So I'm going to answer you just very briefly and just give you some direction. And that is, you are correct. There is no bylaw that says people cannot come in and solicit in town. I don't even know if that would be legal. It might be, I don't know. But at a minimum, assuming that it was legal, you'd have to have a bylaw created for doing this. But I will say, the one thing I would caution you on is it's nearly impossible to police something like that. And I'm sure you appreciate, we have a small part-time
Yes.
police department. So, I mean, you might be able to get it on the annual town meeting and they may pass it and say, okay, you can't solicit anymore, but what's the penalty for one thing? Even if someone were to go out and see them, what would be the penalty for that, you know? And
Absolutely.
that's assuming if you could get them. That would be the process, okay? But I would think of it as a game of chess. Think 3 or 4 moves ahead.
Chess match.
How do we enforce it? What's the penalty? You know, there are other
Yes.
things to go with that. So that would be my best advice to you.
And I would also add that I'm hoping to get a bylaw committee up and running again. So the year is nice, open if you want to be a part of that. I think we need to work, overall, our bylaws can help.
Oh, absolutely. I will certainly let you know, hopefully things for us will come down here in the near future.
I was just talking to the chair of the bylaws this morning over coffee. They're meeting, I think, like next week or the week after. But they'll be going through our bylaws and seeing what we have and if they want to update anything, propose updates. So you might want to connect with them.
I certainly will.
Okay? Thank you
I
very much.
appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, fellow board members. Right, thank you. All right. Now we have minutes. Looks like May 18th, June 29, and July 6th. Everyone has had a chance to look through those? Okay. Questions, corrections, additions, subtractions, anything? All right, let's do them one at a time now so that it's clear. At some point, we have any questions.
Make a motion to accept the meeting minutes from May 2026.
Second.
Second, okay. These are for, what is that, May 18th? This is for May 18th. If there's no questions or comments, all in favor?
Stewart, aye.
De Bruin abstain.
Dwyer, aye.
Kelly, aye.
Make a motion to accept June 29, 2026 meeting minutes.
Yep, we have a
Sorry.
motion.
I
on it.
second that.
All in favor?
Stewart, aye.
De Bruin, aye.
Dwyer, aye.
Kelly, aye.
I make a motion to accept the meeting minutes of July 6, 2026.
Second it.
Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Stewart, aye.
De Bruin, aye.
Dwyer, aye.
Kelly, aye. Okay, next up, we have a series of appointments to be done. So if we can take them one at a time.
I make a motion for town historian Mike DeFalco for a 1-year term.
Second it.
Okay. Just as an FYI, Mike is currently the town historian, so we're reinstating him for the same job. Okay, all in favor?
Stewart, aye.
De Bruin, aye.
Dwyer, aye.
Kelly, aye.
I make a motion to appoint Cole Adams to the historic commission for a 3-year term.
Second it.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Stewart, aye.
De Bruin, aye.
Dwyer, aye.
Kelly, aye.
Motion to appoint Nicole Bissonnette to the rec committee for a 1-year term.
Second it.
Discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Stewart, aye.
De Bruin, aye.
Dwyer, aye.
Kelly, aye.
Make a motion to appoint Adam Jostler for rec committee for a 1-year term.
Second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Stewart, aye.
De Bruin, aye.
I make a motion to appoint Sarah Fanick.
Wait a minute, hold on.
Oh, sorry, Maguire, aye.
Kelly, aye. I
It's been a long
appreciate your
week.
enthusiasm.
Make a motion to appoint Sarah Fana to the rec committee for 1 year term.
Seconded.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Raise your eye. Stewart, aye.
Bruin, aye.
Dwyer, aye.
Kelly, aye.
Make a motion to appoint Jill Sheldon for rec committee, 1 year term.
Seconded.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Raise your eye. Stewart, aye.
Bruin, aye.
Dwyer, aye.
Kelly, aye.
And Justin, I make a motion to appoint Justin Smizak to rec committee for 1 year term.
Seconded.
And I'd like to just say, I'd just like to say, Mr. Brendan Fullman is here. He was the chair of rec committee. How many years? He took over when I left, and it's a hard job, and I think it's an underappreciated job. I don't think people know what kind of thing goes in that, and I know that you're stepping down, so I don't think it's time. You're not leaving them high and dry though, right? Awesome.
Make sure they got it.
Yes, good. Well, thank you so much for volunteering. I know it's not easy.
Thank them as well for stepping up.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Raise your eye. Stewart, aye.
Bruin, aye.
Dwyer, aye.
Kelly, aye. Thanks again. Appreciate it. Now, you know, there's kind of a little joke up here, and I'm the worst one because I'm nearly blind and my eyesight's so bad. So I always have them read stuff. I'm not doing this to try to see it. I wish you could see how tiny that printing is.
Awful.
I'm not kidding you. I
have a headache
have no idea what that
straining.
says. Hopefully somebody will read it.
It's okay, Chris, we forgive you.
Yeah. He knows I'm teasing him. He writes me stuff up in the office so that the font was this big so I can see it.
Hey, I'm the same way.
Right?
I agree.
Yeah. Okay, next up we have the Opakam Land Trust Forest Legacy Program update.
So my name is Lady Wilder. I'm the executive director for Opakam Land Trust, and we've been working on a Forest Legacy Program, which is a grant program to reimburse landowners for putting their land in what's called a conservation restriction to keep the land in its open natural state in perpetuity. So we've been working on this for years, 5 years plus applying, and when we applied, the town had agreed to hold these conservation restrictions, so we're finally getting to the finish line here and completing these projects. So we have 2 of them. We have one on Prospect Hill Road and a property on John Haley Road. And these are both beautiful properties where that are staying in a forested condition with the willing landowners to do this work. So I'm here tonight because we're, like I said, we're getting towards the finish line and doing this project. And one of the requirements is to collect signatures from the select board on these conservation restriction documents. They will be recorded at the Registry of Deeds. And the first one, the Prospect Hill Road with the garages, the town of Brimfield will be holding the conservation restriction. And through the Conservation Commission, they will be in charge of monitoring that property and making sure that nothing is violated in that conservation restriction. Opakam Land Trust has offered to assist with that as well, so we're not just doing a project and leaving the town high and dry. We're going to continue to be of assistance for that property. The second one on John Haley Road is a property that Opakam Land Trust will be holding the conservation restriction. And we do still need the select board to sign that, just as a procedural requirement of the state of Massachusetts. They have select boards, town councils, things like that. When a conservation restriction is put on a property in a town, they require the town to sign that document as well. So, yeah, so the update is we're getting close, and we have some things to discuss.
So you need a
and sign.
motion from this board to accept the restrictions as presented on both of those properties?
So, for the one on Prospect Hill Road, because the town is holding it, I think that would make sense. The other one, because Opakam Land Trust is holding the conservation restriction, we're taking all of that responsibility for monitoring and following up with the landowner on things like that. So I don't know
Okay.
if it would necessarily be both.
All right, so as I understand this, the Conservation Commission being associated with this, we need their signatures on that one.
On which one?
On,
Garage.
Prospect
Yep,
Hill, yes.
correct.
And then the one on John Haley, just a signature from this board, because it's going to be managed by them. Okay. So why don't we do it that way? Let's do, well, we'll do them separately, but let's do a motion on the one on Prospect Hill. The idea that it's subject to the signatures from the Conservation Commission. Does that make any
No,
sense at all?
it doesn't, but that's okay.
Okay.
So we're signing for the garage part.
Right, we're signing for the town, but conservation has to sign off too, right? Yeah.
So we're approving.
And we're gonna, yes, and I think is it all signatures from this board or just all signatures?
All signatures that,
So it's all of us.
you will
all the
need to
council.
sign the contract with the department, or just you for the contract with the Department of Conservation and Recreation.
Okay.
The other two.
So is that the motion to sign the contract between Conservation, Recreation Fund for the,
Conservation.
right?
Yeah, yeah, just say pending the signatures, the majority of the signatures.
Do you want to make that motion? Okay.
Yeah, take a shot at that.
So, I move that pending the signatures from the Conservation Commission, that we accept the Opakam Land Trust Forest Legacy Program address as listed as the rear at Prospect Hill Road.
Okay,
I'll second that.
all right, any other discussion on it? No? Okay, all in favor?
Raise your eye.
Stewart, aye.
Bruin abstain.
Dwyer, aye.
Kelly, aye. Okay, so if you have that, we'll get that signed, and now why don't we do the one for, John Haley Road? Yeah, so much. You seem to be on a roll.
Pending Conservation Commission signature,
No, not for this
no,
one.
not
for this one?
Not for this one.
Not for this
This
one,
is
right?
just us.
so we can straight approve it.
Yes.
All right. I move that we approve Opakam Land Trust Forest Legacy Program, the address 0 John Haley Road, Brimfield, Mass, and 66 John Haley Road, Brimfield, Mass.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Raise your eye.
Stewart, aye.
Bruin abstain.
Dwyer, aye.
Kelly, aye.
One thing on the conservation restriction, the signatures need to be notarized, and I wasn't sure if you were able to have the clerk come to notarize them.
Well, as good
or-
fortune would have it, she was here but left.
So our signatures have to be notarized from the Conservation?
Both.
Both?
Yes.
We'll get it taken care of.
Okay.
So that is, so you want a motion to sign the contract, right? All right.
which one?
So the second one under new business, we're gonna do that one.
Well, the second one in new business is
That's the
something
contract,
else.
yeah, that's the contract.
Yes, so my understanding is the contract for DCR, we just needed a signature from the chair of the select board versus the conservation restriction is the select board members.
So can I just make a motion that the chair sign the Massachusetts Department of Conservation and Rec for Emerald Forest, Borderlands Forest Legacy Program?
Right.
Right?
Yep. Okay. We get a second on that? Second. Get a second? All right, any discussion on that? All right, all in favor?
Raise your eye.
Stewart, aye.
Bruin abstain.
Dwyer, aye?
Kelly, aye. Is this the one we just did? Yeah. You weren't here earlier when I was signing all these things.
Have you signed your name or someone else's?
No, I wasn't doing mine, all over the place. All right. next up, we have review and sign grant of conservation restriction agreement from trustees of the W. Scott Terry Junior Inc. Oh, this was a lot of words. I was hoping for the one quick sentence I could get through. All right, I'm gonna have somebody else do that. This guy with the youngest guys here.
We just did that. Yeah, we just
Third
did
one,
that.
just do it.
We just did that
So,
one.
That's the one we just did?
yeah,
Yeah, we just did that.
The next thing is the cable access.
Yep.
All right. All right, so,
Cable access.
all right, so if we're down to the cable, right? Okay. All right, the next, what's that?
why don't we number these for that one, so we can say we're on number whatever, instead of the bullets?
Okay, cable access pay rate. We have our cable guy right here. Do you have anything you want to add, any of this? No?
This was news to me. I'm not sure what it's too much about.
Thank you very much.
So this is for the fiscal 27.
Speak up a little bit, maybe.
This is for the fiscal 27 pay rate for the cable access coordinator. The salary is paid from a grant rather than town operating budget.
Right.
For that, the board voted in favor of a 3% COLA. This just would need either that vote or vote no action so that it can be signed for the accounting to process the pay
All right,
rate.
so we have to approve what we had.
It's a what, 93 cents?
3% increase will bring it to $30.90 per hour.
So typically, we haven't given that increase. It has been paid from a grant. But now, is it still gonna be paid from the grant?
Yes.
But we should just okay that anyway.
Yep.
Anybody else have anything?
No? You guys are all set, right, on this? Okay, good.
I make the motion, Chris, can I see that? Okay. So I make a motion to increase the pay rate for our cable access coordinator to $30.90. That would be pretty simple goal.
I second that, and I just want to say, I don't know if it was already said, but just to make it clear for those that are here, that's the simple COLA that every town employee receives, and other town employees, it comes out of our town budget, but his comes out of the grant and covers what he's doing, so it has no impact on our town budget. It just keeps him in line with everyone else, Jared. It's not something he asked for, it's something we're doing for him.
Thank you.
So I made a motion?
Yep.
Second.
Did you make a motion? You get a second. All right, is there any other discussion on this? All right, all in favor?
Your eye. Stewart, aye.
DeBruin, aye.
Why aye?
Ellie, aye. One more that we can smoke. This is her signature. I've been practicing that since high school.
Good job, Mark.
Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, you know? Okay. The next one up is discussion about the fiber optic cable. We talked about this a few meetings back, about how that had been damaged. We have a fiber optic cable that connects the town annex with the town hall. When they were digging the trench to put the fiber from the street to the new pump house in the back, in digging this up, they damaged the fiber and the conduit, I believe, on this. But it should be noted that in advance of doing their digging, they did reach out to DigSafe, which is required, and DigSafe was told that they were good to go simply because it was never reported to DigSafe that they had put this cable between the annex and the town hall. So there was no way that they would have had knowing that that cable was in the ground. So, having said that, I know that Select Board Member Brown had put together a letter that he wanted us to review. So I did that and I put it on the agenda so we could make a decision on it. Now, if you want to address your
Sure.
letter, please, by all means.
Sure, just to refresh everyone's recollection on the discussion around that letter was My intent of the letter was so that to the extent that we determine that there's any responsible party, we would want simply the contractor to put their insurance carrier on notice, just so they don't lose coverage in case we decide that there is responsibility on one of these contractors. So if you look at the letter, my letter is basically not establishing that they're responsible or anything, but rather we're asking them to place their general liability insurer on notice and just provide that information to us.
Thank you for that explanation. So, I'm going to give you my thoughts on that. And that is that I don't personally see them responsible for the damage on this. Had it been reported to Big Safe, that's an issue. Okay? Then we could have said, well, you knew it was there, the damage, you'd be responsible for it. I hear what Chris is saying, that I don't inherently have a problem doing that, but I would like to put the caveat in there that before any notification would go to the contractor and subsequently to their insurance company, we would need to come back here first, take a vote of the full board to decide whether or not we think that's appropriate. Thoughts on that?
I would agree generally with that.
Okay.
Anyways, if we were taking any sort of time, effort to pursue it further, we would want to have consensus amongst us about the understanding of what the facts were and whether or not we should.
So I don't know if I'm asking too much, but along with this letter, if we do send this letter to them, shouldn't somebody from this office be in contact with them to let them know where we stand, so that they don't see this and kind of go off the rails?
Yeah.
Chris, how do you feel about, the only reason I'm looking at you for this is I know you've done a lot of work with McClure and Board of Health and everyone else. And so I know you have the contacts and the information. I would talk to Dick Costa, the chair of the Board of Health first, and just say this is what we've got on the table here and get his thoughts on it. But as long as we, kind of take all the right steps with that, I'm fine. But I'm not, I don't want to just say, yeah, we're going to try to pay for this.
Right. No, and I agree, and I don't want them to see this letter and think that either. They are a small company, blah blah blah. But yes, I agree.
Chris, you okay with that? No, excuse me. Chris DeFalco, are you okay with that?
Yes.
You okay with that?
Absolutely.
Everybody all right with that? All right, then let's make it as a motion to do something to notification, talking to the Board of Health, and then put it back here if we decide at some point we need to submit that to reimbursement. Before any permanent step is taken, the board will revisit this. Did you hear me? Did you hear what I said?
No.
No, I just said, if they want to make the motion, just make it subject to the fact that it would have to come back here to the board to make a decision in the event that we think we are entitled to some kind of compensation on that, and get in touch with the Board of Health, because they're really the lead ones on this program. So just to let them know, just as a professional notice. Okay?
So I guess I would make a motion to accept the letter, subject to the Board of Health being notified, the company being notified, and any action will come back to this board first.
Great. Can I get a second on that?
Second.
Okay. If there is no other discussion, if there is, yell out, but if not, all in favor?
Adrian, aye. Stewart, aye.
DeBruin, aye.
Or I.
Oh, yeah. Thank you all for that. Okay. Oh, yeah. The list of names of who will have the carryover is a matter of public record, as it is part of this agenda. But for the purposes of this meeting, if you want to just make a more broad motion that says,
I would make a motion to accept give permission to the carryover for vacation time fiscal year 2026 as written in spreadsheet. How's that?
Personnel policy.
Personnel policy.
Well, we want to make sure that as written on, this was
Yeah,
given to us
doesn't-
by Marie. They're well within their needs for personnel policy, so
Yeah.
Marie has put this together, the spreadsheet.
Right, so let's do it off the account spreadsheet, okay? And then, just because I don't know if it's necessary to identify everybody,
Do you want me to read?
quite a few names, no, that wouldn't work. You know what I mean? I mean, if you want to, but I would.
No, you want me to read, to say the motion again? Or
Did everybody hear the motion?
Do you have a date in it for them to be carried over?
So
to
it's,
bill?
per the personnel policy, I believe it's September. Right? It's 2 weeks up until September.
I just have one question on that. So when we do that, I see this as an official document, and I'm hoping there's no like typos or whatever in the numbers. So I do have one question that just kind of jumps out at me. It's for middle of the page, and one employee FY '26 says 76 hours.
Yep.
But they're only carrying 40?
Yep, that's all they can. Per our
Okay.
bylaw, that's all they can
All
carry,
right.
so they're gonna lose those out, the
Okay.
additional hours.
All right.
Excellent question.
And I believe, at the bottom as well. don't lose
Yeah.
some hours. So there's 2 employees that will lose some hours, but I think
Hold on one second,
Yeah.
and I don't mean to,
No, that's
but I
okay.
do want to go too far into that. So the limit is 40?
So that's my point, like the limit is 80, because you can only carry over 10 days, which is 2 weeks, that's 80 hours, right?
So the accountant has calculated 10 days based on what each individual employee's work day is.
Right, they don't all work.
Or based on the number of hours they work per week.
Okay.
I can't verify anything here myself, but I will say that she put this together and then went back over to confirm all of her numbers.
Right
And
on the
she is-
spreadsheet?
Yes, she is confident in the numbers.
You care about your well-being, you are not questioning.
No, I think we might be jipping something, that's all. But as long as they've already looked at that, okay.
Yep. So
Yeah, like I'm not looking to take away, I'm looking to give someone more if there's a typo.
And again, I think our personnel policy is tweaking because people are
Definitely
losing,
does.
they're
Definitely
losing
does.
vacation time because they're not using it every year.
Do you see what I'm saying
Yeah.
though?
Yep.
Like somebody who has 90 hours
Yep.
and carry over 80, that fits what you're saying. But somebody that has 76 hours, they could carry the 76 over, and it's less than 80, but we're only carrying 40. Why not carry the full 76? Because it's less than 10 days, still. You see what I'm saying?
See what you're saying?
And then down below, you have one with 90 hours and
Yeah, but
carrying
you can
80.
only,
No,
but you can only carry
10 days
so they're only,
only if they work 8 hours.
out of the 90. But
Right,
look
but
up
it's
here.
going by 8 hours, so it's 10 days
Got it.
if they work an 8-hour day.
So nothing should
Okay,
exceed.
so it has to do with that person's
Yes,
schedule.
yes.
Yeah.
All right, I just want to make sure.
Well, that's interesting.
Got it.
Okay,
Yeah, so I made a motion to accept the carryover of vacation time as written in our accountant's spreadsheet.
A second.
okay. All in favor?
See what I,
Bruin, aye.
Dwyer, aye.
Ellie, aye. Thank you, thanks for that input. Okay, next we have set appointment length for building and trails appointments made on June 29th. So we just approved them without the...
Right. So typically, is the trail committee 1 year?
Yes.
All right. So I make a motion to set the appointment late for trail committee for 1 year for those that we named in the June 29th meeting.
seconded.
All right. Any questions or discussion? All right, all in favor?
See what I,
Bruin, aye.
Dwyer, aye.
Ellie, aye.
next one. Just leave the window and put one on a timeout until we look into it before we
Look into what?
we're talking about it.
Yeah, don't do anything with that yet.
Nope,
We
nothing.
can talk about that. Okay, so last on the agenda, we have discussion of Civic Plus website migration and alternative options. So,
So we
before,
gotta do, I think we're gonna do building committee as well. The separate appointment link. So I looked back and I couldn't find any, it looked like maybe,
for building, it
yeah.
says me, sorry.
It's 3 years.
Is it 3?
Each one.
I feel like there should be a rotation.
Well, it has to be rotated, you have to be staggered.
Yeah.
Time with it. So you have to do,
One,
how many
two,
we put in there?
we put in
Put in
three.
3. So we'll do a 1, 2, and a 3 on that.
I agree.
Eventually they'll all have 3, but starting off,
I
we
agree.
have to start the rotation. So, we have those names.
Yep.
Okay.
So I would make a motion to, that's okay, for Eric Rondeau for a 3-year appointment.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Stewart, aye.
Yep.
Who was this?
DeBruin, aye.
Is this the one? Huh? All right. 1, 2.
I make a
put it on hold.
motion,
Hang on a second.
okay.
Why don't you make
Yep,
a
I'm
motion
gonna
and we
do
put it on
one.
hold until we get a chance to talk
Okay,
about that?
we're gonna do the 2 and we do that?
Yeah.
Okay, I know where you're at.
Okay.
I know where you're at. Make a motion for Nick Gardner for a 2-year appointment.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Stewart, aye.
And then I'm gonna make a motion. I'm gonna make a motion to hold Dave Basham.
No.
Yeah.
On the time, okay.
Yeah. Right,
Hold that one.
right.
We'll
So,
do the middle. What was the first one?
so I get, Eric Rondeau was a 3-year.
Okay, the one down the bottom, yeah. Who's that?
Oh, that's Zach, so he's a non-appointed, non-voting.
Okay, but
Oh, you wanna give him one?
No, but we need to, no, we can.
Okay.
So all members should have a time frame, including Zach. I think Zach, even as non-voting, because you have, on various committees and boards, associate members, right? An associate member has a certain time frame.
Yep.
Obviously, that's how I would refer to Zach, so I would put him down there for whatever we think.
Okay,
is the
did
time
you guys
frame.
hear that? He's suggesting that Zach should have a timeline also because all other boards, like zoning board of appeals and whatnot, they have terms for their associate members. So even though he's not a voting member, we should still be giving him a time frame for this. Motion for that guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was
Until we can just say information or whatever you want to say.
Go ahead. You seem to know what, yeah, go ahead.
So I move that we put Dave Bashand on hold so we can conduct some follow-up with the individual.
Okay? All right, you have a second? All in favor of that?
Stewart, aye.
DeBruin, aye.
McGuire, aye.
Kelly, aye.
Do we want you guys want to make a motion for the Zach Lemieux for non-voting?
Yeah, I move that we appoint Zach Lemieux as a non-voting member for a period of 3 years. Second.
Any other discussion? All right, all in favor?
Stewart, aye.
DeBruin, aye.
McGuire, aye.
Kelly, aye. Is that everybody?
Yep.
So now we're on to last. Discussion of Civic Plus. All right. It should come as no particular surprise to anyone that we've had a long history of rocky road with permit code and online permitting process for a whole host of reasons. Some of the folks that use it say it doesn't do what they need it to do. Other folks say it's okay. But happily, the decision has been made for us because we've been notified that they intend to be basically.
You're getting confused.
Talking permit code.
Yeah, you're
I
talking
am
about.
talking, I am.
No, that's
Civic
Civic
Plus
Plus.
is our
No,
that's-
I understand.
Okay,
I'm-
okay.
Stay with me, I'm just building up. This is the crescendo, building up. Okay? I got you. So, it turns out that they don't expect to be here past the 31st of December this year. So we really need to get a replacement ASAP. I did ask Chris to notify Permit, yeah, hello, that we want to get all information that they have in their system that belongs to us, back to us, so we have that information. And then we will be going forward with the Civic Plus, because I know some of our folks have had meetings and we've had people talk to them, and everybody who's had contact with them says that they have very positive reaction to them. At least a lot of us. What?
Civic Plus is the company that hosts the town website.
Okay. Oh, the website.
Yes, not on there.
I gave it host speech for nothing.
tried.
I let you did it. Next time, stab me with
I'm
your
gonna kick
pen.
you next
Yeah.
time.
Everybody enjoy
Forget
that
everything you just said.
Everybody enjoy that speech? Just
It was
remember.
wonderful. I thought you were going somewhere.
That is a presentation that we're gonna be talking about.
That'll save you
soon.
having to sit through that speech when we talk about the permit.
So Civic Plus is our website.
So just real quick, and then Chris, I'm sure you're gonna wanna, DeFalco, you're gonna wanna say some things about this too. Civic Plus is the platform that our town website uses.
I'm gonna
And-
turn around and face the other way now.
And so that's what, Chris, do you wanna, I don't mind speaking to you.
I know you spoke with Deb, so you have a little more information on what she was thinking than I do. at the
Okay.
moment.
So Civic Plus, like I said, is the platform for our town website. And what that means is the employees in the town, it's a spot for them to keep their page updated with minutes, agendas, announcements, but they need to be able to have a working knowledge of how to manage your website, how to go in and make those administrative adjustments. And Deb's been doing that, our town clerk. She feels as though she's good with technology, and it's difficult for her. She worries about, everyone else being able to do the same. So the bottom line is Civic Plus is migrating, meaning they've given us, and we're already past it, and we keep kind of pushing them along, saying we're not ready, we're not ready, we're not ready to do a migration where their antiquated system, which we're on now, will expire and their new system will take it over. In order for that migration to happen, we need to have all of our town employees log in, create a username, a password, and they should be going through the training. The training's been conducted, it's recorded, they can spend the time to watch it and make sure they know how to use it. So there's been some talk about why do that, instead of, why don't we put it out for bid and find other vendors that can do the same, that might be easier to understand, right? An easier town website platform. But the challenge is that we're in a contract right now, right? Chris DeFalco, we're in a 3-year contract. I think we just finished year number 1.
So, after we talked, I found it hold, the contract is actually set so that it is December 1st through November 30th. We are contracted in for 1 more year, but can break with 60 days notice. So if the town were to transition to a new website, we would need to be by September 31st, ready to go, or renew for 1 more year with Civic Plus, and in the interim, look for a replacement.
So that we do have options.
It's fast, timeline.
But what I'd like to, I know we've heard, you've spoken to our town clerk, but maybe we could put like a survey out to the rest of the employees, everybody that uses the website, and see what their feelings are on. I think we have to get everybody's input. That's just, I don't know if that's possible. Before we make a big change or decide to make a big change like that, I would like more input.
I'm no longer allowed to have.
You just.
Yes, I have no.
So there are 2 options, but we need to move real fast if we're gonna move in the direction of another company and if we're gonna stay.
Right, and cost would be an issue as well.
Yeah. So, true. So, if we go down the road, instead of sending a survey, all it's gonna take is check with everybody in the office and see what they think. Because let them decide if we put it out for bid and maybe we look to see what other towns are using and how they like their systems. And we invite them to bid on this project. That's one way of doing it. But that needs to happen like within the next 2-3 weeks.
So,
right, Chris?
the issues that we're having with Civic Plus, have we had discussions with them to see if those things could be fixed?
Well, there have been multiple issues. Now, I will say historically, their Civic Plus has been fine. However, in the last several months, we have had what may or may not have been a security breach on their end that they have avoided giving us any clarity on what happened. We've had increasing technical glitches, more difficulty with the customer support kind of service, which historically hasn't really been an issue, but has been lately with the back end of it, end of lifing as of June 30th, 2027. They have been pushing this migration over to Drupal 7. They have not done everything that they have said they were on their end and have really been pushing what the town clerk has not felt has had enough proper training information for use.
I think, seeing that there was possibly 2 breaches and they haven't been corresponding with us and giving us the explanation, I think that's enough of a reason to look at it differently.
I hate to jump in because I'd get to get something right here, but I'm gonna take a shot at this anyways. And the other piece of that is, not only did they not keep us apprised of what was going on, but without any notification or approval from the town, they went in and just changed people's passwords. Keep nodding yes on one, still talking about the same subject.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're good.
And what was the other, they didn't tell us that they were changing the password, and then they logged people off, so
Right,
they
so
couldn't get
there
back.
was mass confusion. We didn't have the answers.
Right, and then we heard that there was a breach, which they didn't tell us until we pressed them on it, and we found out that there was a pretty significant one that it affected a lot more than the town of Brimfield, so there are some issues here. And more than anything, I think, for me personally, is the lack of communication about something as important as this. That's huge. I don't know how we would use somebody that we can't trust them, and I don't know how we can trust them if they're withholding information from us, so.
So could we as a board agree that within the next couple of weeks that Chris, is that enough time to Falco to maybe find a few vendors? And I have a question for Jared. Jared? Sorry. Jacob, sorry.
No, it's okay.
Hey, call him Tim.
Call me Tim. Oh, John. Are you familiar with any of these platforms for town websites at all from
Yeah.
other towns? Do you know of any that are going along pretty well in other towns?
It may be a conflict of interest because my company actually does website overhauls for towns. So
Probably best to stay.
yeah,
Why don't you stay out of it?
yeah, and we just did the town of Brookfield.
Yeah,
So.
no, don't say nothing about it.
Yeah.
Don't say nothing
Sorry.
about it.
But, I mean, how can we as a board go forward?
Get as much information as quickly as possible in the next couple of weeks on alternatives that we can talk about and review. And I would just, when we talk about, let the employees decide which one they like on this, understand that just simply means tell us which one they think is the best one. The decision will be made.
So can we say that by the next meeting, 2 weeks from now, would you be able to, Christopher, would you be able to get us 2 or 3 proposals from other companies?
Chris, and I'd be happy to help you. I know you have a lot on your plate.
Potentially, it would take at least cursory specifications. I can look through what was done for the previous, when Civic Plus was brought on, and should be able to get 3 quotes hopefully in that time frame. If not, then for the following meeting. And again, those grabbing the quotes wouldn't obligate going with any of those if the board chose to ultimately stay with Pacific Plus.
So you'll come up with a couple options for us as soon as you can.
I would just caution that you can't see it from here, but this is the line. So, just look at
I'm not trying to put
we
the pressure
recognize
on
that
you.
we got a big week coming up here, so.
Maybe we can have this information by the end of the week.
Yeah. If you can do it by tomorrow, that would be great.
How about tomorrow?
Yeah, good.
I'm having help.
That's not too much.
And I think, you know, as a board, we can do our own research of what other numbers we want.
Chris,
So based on what
sign
you
you
just
just
said, that, you know, that kind of negates any town employee having to log in, make a username, password, and learn how to use Civic Plus right now. They should do what they're doing, kind of stand fast, don't move, let us see what we come up with in the next couple weeks.
So are employees getting emails from this company? Like, we need to stop, we need to put a comment out?
I believe
Yes.
those emails are just going to the town clerk and she's forwarding their requests for
To the front.
other employees
Yeah.
to make accounts.
So maybe we could just, I think we need to put a statement out.
Yep, slow their roll, and just give us a few weeks to be able to find what our options are.
Okay, so I can actually say this. So in Brookfield, the communications committee in Brookfield surveyed 200 towns to find out what website platforms they're using. I can get you a copy of that if you'd like.
perfect,
All
thank
right.
you. Cool. All right, good. So that's what we'll do then, all right? Okay. Make us all very happy now.
Well, what about this? What are we gonna do?
Renewal? Really small.
Yeah.
Okay, I know. The wheels have come off in here. I signed everything in the wrong place before the meeting, now I'm not. It must be the heat.
Okay, so we still have old business.
Yeah, right. Why don't you go ahead and take this?
So old business, we have a spectrum renewal license update.
Okay, so I'll provide the update. So, for the license agreement, Spectrum has agreed to our demand for 5%, which is the FCC cap. However, the former town council came back and said there's one more modification that Spectrum would like to make to the agreement. And that modification involves the cable drops that are being provided to municipal buildings as being voluntary on their part. Now, the alternative is that council has said that it's a little confusing, but the FCC at one point in time in 2019 issued an order, and that order basically said, if we as a cable company give you free cable drops, we can count that as an in-kind contribution towards the 5% franchise fee. So whatever those values are, comes off of that franchise fee. And what I'm reading from the email from town council is that town council is saying that normally what they would say is the agreement should say, listen, we will give you what's required under Mass General Law, Chapter 166A, Section 5E, which is free cable drops in municipal buildings with a reservation of rights for that FCC order, meaning that they simply retain the right to take that off of the 5%. That's their recommendation as an alternative to what is being proposed by Spectrum, which is the voluntary language. Either way, my interpretation is what Spectrum is essentially saying, we're giving these to you right now voluntarily, free. We do have the right, according to the FCC, to drop it off your 5%, but essentially we're doing it voluntarily. So that's my interpretation of what
That's what it looked like. That's kind of like saying that Hey, good news, your taxes went from $16 a thousand to 15.5, but the value of the house went up by $15,000, you know what I mean? But I would also say this, if we look at that, I like the idea of saying we'll get the 5%. If you want to take off the drop buildings coming out of that, okay, because guess what? What new buildings do we have that don't do that to? Most buildings already have the drop zone. So what do we stand to lose, you know?
Right.
Just saying, right?
So I think
All the buildings we have the drop, so.
yeah, I think the decision that we're being asked to consider is either their Spectrum's proposal of voluntary language or the alternative, what's being outlined by our council, which is no, it's per chapter 166, section 5E, with the reservation of the wood. So I think that's the question.
I gotta be honest with you, I'd be happy to take the Spectrum's recommendation, because like
You
I
gotta speak
said.
up, sir.
Huh?
You gotta speak up, I can't hear you.
I think that the Spectrum suggestion, offer, whatever, recommendation is the way to go, only because I don't see where there would be new drops anywhere, you know what I mean?
So you're talking the voluntary language that is currently being
Yes.
proposed by.
I think so. I mean, unless somebody can tell me why that's a bad idea. If we had new buildings coming up, and even if you ended up doing something with the town hall, which God knows if that will ever happen, but even if you did, you're still putting the drop back on the building that's already had it, right?
I don't see this as being free, when they're holding free hostage. You know?
It's not essentially free
Yeah,
because
it's
the
not
FCC
definitely
is allowing them to
Yeah.
take it off of the 5% fee anyway. So it's really.
And we were at 4.5, right?
We were at 4.5. The whole, if you remember, to refresh you, the whole reason why we pressed for the 5% was we wanted the additional franchise fee PEG funding to help us with the part-time
Correct.
position of the access coordinator, so we can get more meetings recorded, all that stuff.
When they
So
say new
I think that's
buildings-
what our primary
New
priority
drops.
is.
Drops.
Not new buildings, new drops. But if we have drops in all of our existing buildings, we have to build a new building to get a new drop. Or take them over, which that's not happening.
Okay.
Right?
Sounds logical.
Right?
Yeah.
So one of
What do you,
Yeah, I think just to get back to what our priority was, our priority was getting the 5% cap so we could fund part-time access coordinator.
Yeah.
That's our priority.
Yeah.
That's what I view.
I
as.
agree.
So we got the 5%, and I think we should go with what Spectrum is doing.
So then let's do this. Chris DeBrune, you've earned this motion.
All right, I will make a motion for us to accept the Spectrum Cable license agreement with their proposed language relative to the cable drops and services being on a voluntary basis.
I would second that.
Okay? All in favor?
Stewart, aye.
DeBruin, aye.
All right.
Kelly, aye.
Let's
Okay,
take a-
now?
Yes, now. I take a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Stewart, aye.
DeBruin, aye.
All right.
Very aye. We are adjourned.